Sometime in the near future, a major earthquake will lay waste to the entire California coastline. From out of the rubble will rise a menace far more terrifying than the death and destruction. Surf Nazis.
Who rules the beaches? Surfers! Who rules the surfers?
The beautiful beaches, once the crown jewels of California, are now ruled by ruthless gangs. And the gangs are ruled by the surf Nazis. Surf Nazis must die. Adolf. Ava. Mengele. Hook. Smeg. And the rest of their evil Reich. Something must be done to stop them because surf Nazis must die. They're slaughtering the samurai surfers. They're devastating the designer wave. The beaches are no longer safe to hang around. Surf Nazis must die. Welcome to California, where the beaches have become battlefields and the waves are a war zone. Only one person is powerful enough, daring enough, brave enough to stop them. Only one person can ensure that surf Nazis must die. She's tough.
I want to buy a gun. Keep talking white trash, but I'm more interested in something that'll take the head off a honky at 20 paces.
She's dangerous. She's all woman. She's Leroy's mama. And as long as she's alive, the surf Nazis must die. First, there was the Road Warrior. Then there was the Terminator. Now comes an action film of relentless excitement. Lavishly produced by Robert Tinnell. Stylishly directed by Peter George. Surf Nazis must die. Experience the passion of perverted romance. Know the evil of mankind's greatest villains. And taste the violent revenge.
Taste some of Mama's home cooking, Adolf.
See the film that is creating a tidal wave of action all over the world. See Surf Nazis Must Die.
Surf Nazis Must Die in 1987. Here's the storyline. When the grandson of a gun-wielding woman is murdered by neo-Nazi surf punks in a post-apocalyptic future. Directed by Peter George. Written by John Ayer and Peter George. Released July 3rd, 1987. Tagline: The beaches have become battlefields. The waves are a war zone. Here's the cast. Gail Neely as Eleanor Mama Washington. Robert Hardin as Leroy. Barry Brenner as Adolf. Dawn Wildsmith as Eva. Michael Saunier as Mengele. Joel Heil as Hook. Gene Mitchell as Brutus. Tom Shell as Schmeg. Bobby Breeze as Schmeg's mom. And the cast goes on. Class of Nukem High, and then the Toxic Avenger, and now Surf Nazis Must Die. Okay, obviously this film was bought by Troma, so it's not a Troma film directed by Hers or Kaufman. So you have a film here. Look, I found this film very interesting. Look, it's not a masterpiece by no means. The acting was a little shaky at certain parts, certain characters, but all in all, this is definitely a cheesy film. And I mentioned before, I love cheese. And I love cheesy films. Basically what this is about is, there's a character by the name of Eleanor Mama Washington. Her grandson was killed by these Nazi surfers. And she seeks revenge. That aspect of it really had my interest. It was very unique. The neo-Nazis surfers are a bunch of weirdos, nitwits, dopeheads, jackasses. Adolf, the lead character, played by Barry Brenner, it's an odd film. It's shot really odd. The storyline is odd, but fun. You know, the shooting, it's shot well. You know, and there's a lot of haters in this film. You know, a lot of critics are saying how, you know, how did they manage to make this film suck? I mean, stuff like that. I mean, it was filmed in probably like 86, so it's a late 80s, low budget, cheap film. Now, if you're a child of the 80s like I am, you have a different perspective on it than somebody now younger watching this, because they won't get it. Now, mind you, back then it might have been probably one of the worst films that people have seen, but if you look at it, you know, almost 30 years later, it kind of takes a different perspective, because now we have indie films that are being made that have no budget, that aren't the greatest, but the heart and soul and the story and behind it, you have to take in perspective for a film. And this is a film that I take that perspective in. Is, you know, it is what it is. There obviously wasn't much of a budget. They made the film best they could, you know, and to me, I think it's a cult classic. I mean, you couldn't do this film today to have the same aspect. There's no way. You know, it is what it is. So you have a grandma getting revenge on the Nazis, but you gotta remember something. There's also other gangs too. And you'll find out in the film if you haven't seen it. So definitely check it out. And people who have seen it that hated it back then, watch it now. Tell me now. See what you think. You know, it is what it is. That's it. This is Gruesome Herzog. I give this film a 5 out of 10. Average. But it's still fun. What the hell? That's it. This is Gruesome Herzog, and I'm out of here.